wherever you are.
How about that? May issue pa rin ba sa audio? Do let me know if this is a much better na na sound kasi probably yung mic. Ayan. Okay. As I was saying, okay, so umpisahin na. Umpisahin na muna natin what are the things that we're going to be discussed. So, we'll be talking about the Miss Universe Vietnam na issue, yung How Quan Vu Vietnam na title versus the Miss Universe Philippines na okay, wait, I think I got lost there. Okay, so just to recap, for this live stream, we will be talking about several topics. What I posted on my social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram, I will be merging some of those topics together because medyo marami-rami yung kinakailangan natin pagdaanan for this evening. I'll be talking about my three favorites, or rather the three girls that are deemed as favorites for the Miss Universe Philippines title. We will be talking about the Hua Quan Vu Vietnam na issue with regards to the copyrights and the trademark. We will be talking about the arrival, or rather the visit of Kun An and Arbonney Gabriel later for Miss Universe Philippines. And then we will be talking about Binibining Pilipinas and Miss International schedules, as well as a little bit, touching on the scandal ng Miss International Queen Philippines na pageant. I will not be dwelling that much doon sa pangyayaring yon. But I will be letting you know on some of the things na I think kinakailangan natin pag-usapan with regards to that. Okay? So, attendance muna tayo. For those now are new here in our live stream, thank you very much. Welcome to my channel. I'm Jakrajutatip of Sashes&Scripts. And please like and follow us on our social media channels here on YouTube. And let's, grow the community together here on this channel. Okay? So, ang mga nandito ngayon, Daniel P. Yuson, hello, good evening. Thank you very much for being here. Present ka kaagad. And thank you for always looking forward to getting, the latest pageant news here with us. Okay, Jester PL is here. Good evening, sabi ni Jester PL. Tom Consensino is also here. Thank you very much for letting me know, Tom, about the audio issue, about the crackling issue. I think it has something to do with the mic and the positioning of the mic. And then who's here? Marcos Gutierrez is also here. AJ Baay is also here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hello from Novaliches, according to Johnny B. Zaldi Paulino is also here, so thank you very much for joining us in our live stream this evening. And bago tayo mag-umpisa, please hit the like button doon sa ating live stream ngayon para the algorithm ng YouTube will share this live stream to more audiences. Ayan. Let's go ahead with yung ating discussion. I think the first thing that we need to discuss is yung planned arrival na inisplok ni Arbonney with regards to her homecoming in Houston. I think Arbonney right now is quite busy with a lot of these media interview in local stations and channels and radio stations all over Texas. Ang maganda doon is that she was able to let us know that come May, she will be coming here in the Philippines and will be accompanied by the Miss Universe owner, the new Miss Universe owner, and Jakrajutatip of JKN Global. And it is most likely that they will be coming here for the Miss Universe Philippines finals, especially that ang nabanggit niya is that she will be coming here around May. So that means that come Miss Universe Philippines na competition, nandito na yung mga delegation ng Miss Universe organization. I am hoping that aside from Kun An, Paula Sugart will also be there, and Amy Emmerich. I think medyo nauuhaw na tayo sa presensya ng dalawang yon. I think it's about time to hear from them once again. Usually in these visits, it's actually Paula who is more visible, but I think because Kun An is only a stone throw away in Bangkok, madali siyang makalipad dito sa Pilipinas. So we might be seeing more of her, ironically, in the next in around May. So I am sure na most likely, marami na naman siyang pasabog, and I'm hoping that kung ano man yung magiging pasabog niya, it would be only for the better of the pageant. I'm also hoping that sana hindi ma-overshadow ni Kun Ani yung pagdalaw ni Arbonney here, and that pageant media, pageant fans here in the Philippines are very welcoming and respectful as well, kasi I know the feeling ng mga pageant fans ngayon. A lot of you are not very in good terms with the oversaturation of presence ni Kun An dito sa social media. So I am hoping that by that time medyo nagsubside na yung natin, yung high emotions natin, and be welcoming as as hosts to these dignitaries. Ayan. But I also am hoping that we all would give Arbonney the warm welcome, being half Pinay. We give her, the respect, and the title is due her. Mabigyan din natin siya ng tawag ito ng magandang accommodation, ng magandang experience in her visit here. I also hope that come May, by that time, she is more involved with more charity na mga public appearances, as well as magkaroon ng buzz around her, mabigyan siya ng spotlight that we all feel that is owed to her after her winning Miss Universe. I think yun yung isa sa mga things that most fans would like to happen, because we haven't seen or heard much about her despite being the newly crowned queen, and we want the spotlight to be on her. So I am hoping that not just fans, but pageant media would highlight her visit, would highlight her as opposed to the owner, para mabigyan naman din natin ng mabigyan din naman natin ng kaulo ka ng how how Tagalog is so difficult. Kaukulakang mabigyan natin ng tawag ito ng spotlight, and mabigyan natin ng 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 uh, ng respeto yung pagdating niya dito, at mabigyan siya ng tawag ito ng nararapat na attention. Ayan. I am gonna read some comments here kasi medyo may mga nagme-message na. Hello the universe says hello. Sir, good evening. Mukhang impossible for BBP to send a delegate sa Miss Elite. May 19 ang finals ng Elite. It looks like that. Mukhang malabo talaga kasi if rumors are true that moved yung original na tawag ito na dates for Binibining Pilipinas, then we might see somebody else pick up the Philippine franchise for Miss Elite. Bragger21 says, I'm hoping that MUPh will be removed from its owners and its national directors. I don't think that is going to likely happen unless in 2024 magkaroon ng entity that would bid higher and could participate in the bidding war and take over the franchise. Okay? Jester PL, Sir, is it safe to say that na Rbonney will crown the new MUPh? Kinikilig ako. I don't think that is gonna happen. I think it's going to be Celeste who will going to crown her successor. Probably Arbonney will there to help with the sash or with the flowers, but yung mismo mag-corona, I think we owe it to Celeste that yun yung maging papel niya. Okay? AJ Baez says, kaukulang pansin. There, that's the right Tagalog word. Parang yung word lang na nakakapagpagbagabag na word yung tongue twister kanina. So, thank you AJ. So with regards pala doon sa pagdating ni Arbonney and ni Kunan here, I think that brings the Miss Universe Philippines pageant into a precarious situation because with the owner here and with the owner's pronouncements that she wants the Miss Universe or the local organizations to only focus on one crown and only focus on one franchise and to only send and crown one winner who will be going to Miss Universe. It will be very difficult for Miss Universe Philippines to announce during the finals whoever is going to be sent for Miss Supranational and Miss Charm International. And I think it is safe now to assume at this point in time that Empire PH got the Miss Supranational na franchise because they have announced in their Mr. Pilipinas Worldwide na pageant that they will be handling the Mr. Supranational na franchise, which means that yung dalawang magkadikit na Mr. and Miss Supranational na magkapatid na mga franchise, it is most likely that Empire has that already at this point in time, which means that whoever is crowned Miss Supranational Philippines would probably not be announced during the actual Miss Universe Philippines na competition itself. It could happen earlier on as an appointment or probably later as hindi naman appointment siguro, as a crowning from one of the main winners or one of the runners-up. So I think that is the more likely scenario that we are going to face later on. And this is also the reason why on my end, I would rather think that the Miss Universe organization would rather send Celeste Cortesi to compete in Miss Supranational because for several reasons. One, you don't need to train Celeste anymore on speaking, on walking, or anything else. You only need to create a very pageant competition worthy na wardrobe for her, and she's going to be fine. Pangalawa, I don't think that you will have any issues with Celeste having, visa issues, because being half Filipino, half Italian, she probably has a Schengen visa, or being part of the European Union, merong pass yung mga yan to go in different parts of the Europe. So, ibig sabihin, in terms of logistics, hindi tayo mahihirapan kay Celeste to fly and compete in Poland. And I think that's one of the easiest and best reasons for for Celeste to be able to compete in Miss Supranational later this year. I think mas maganda that we are going to send someone who is already prepared, someone who is very knowledgeable on the international na competition, so that hindi siya ganon kangarag when it comes to preparations. As early as now, mas maganda siguro that she was already given, the word if she's going to compete. And I hope, that is something that the Miss Universe Philippines organization would think of. Kasi mas madali na yung logistics, because you don't have to train, package her, and do do applications for the visa and all. She's already there. She's quite ready to compete. Plus, it also gives a good anong tawag dito? What's that word again? Yung magandang unang pasakalye. Ayan. Magandang unang pasakalye ng Miss Universe Philippines that they send someone that is a crown queen. Despite her being an outgoing queen, she would, she would do well, because dala-dala niya yung pagiging national title holder niya into Miss Supranational. Much like how South Africa has done that with Lalela, with their 2022 na competition na right after Lalela winning second runner-up at Miss Universe, she is also sent to Miss Supranational. So, naging maganda yung bunga nung strategy na yon, that they sent a crowned winner, a reigning queen, to compete at Miss Supranational. So, maganda yung maganda yung fruits of that strategy. And I think that is something that we might have to consider ourselves, especially if kung mag-a-appoint sila after the Miss Universe Philippines na coronation, there might not be enough time for the representative of the Philippines to complete her wardrobe, start doing trainings, and at the same time apply for a Schengen visa. And she only has maybe at the most a month and 3 weeks, or a month and 2 weeks to prepare. So I am thinking more on the logical and logistical na side in appointing Celeste to compete at Miss Supranational, because I think that makes more sense. On the other hand, there is also the factor that having Kun An and Arbonney present at the Miss Universe Philippines na competition and finals, it would be disrespectful for the Miss Universe Philippines organization to crown a Miss Supranational Philippines simultaneously during that finals, or during the presence of the Miss Universe owner. So, in order for them to be safe, the best thing that they can do is appoint Celeste and then move forward from there on. I think it will be heartbreaking for some of the girls na sumali ng Miss Universe Philippines aiming for the Miss Supranational Philippines na title, but there is no other way around this except for this for this thing to happen, because alam naman natin yung mahigpit na rule ni Kun An with regards to that. So the best way that they can do is crown a new Miss Universe Philippines, have the former Miss Universe Philippines winner or winners as options for Miss Supranational later on. So whether it's Celeste or it's Bea Gomez or it's Rabia, I think it would be a good, you know, a good strategy to send someone who is a crowned Miss Universe Philippines, a crowned queen from the pageant org, and send her to Miss Supranational in Poland. Tandaan natin, the start of the competition is around June 26 or June around that time, June 26, and then the finals is in July 14. So ibig sabihin medyo mahaba-haba yung kanilang panahon doon sa Poland. So it also means that if you are going to crown your Miss Supranational Philippines at May 13 or maybe several days after that, very small yung kanyang preparation time for the international competition that starts at June 24 or June 26. So, yun sana yung medyo timplahin natin because they're not going to be there at July 14. They will start their activities at June 24 or June 26. So, it means that we really have to send someone who's already trained, who's already prepared for the competition. So, siguro yun yung kinakailangan natin na na pag-isipan on this end. So again, just to recap what I said, I think Celeste makes the most logistical na reason na ipadala sa Miss Supranational Miss Supranational competition sa Poland later on because she can immediately travel, and she can, she's already well trained. Because the alternative to that is magkukorona sila ng ipapadala sa Miss Supranational Philippines na meron ng Schengen visa na available, which I think is going to be unfair for all the girls who are competing na wala pang Schengen visa. I don't think that would be fair for everyone involved, especially for the candidates, because you want to have a clean competition for all the girls. And kung nagkaroon ng special requirement na kinakailangan meron ng Schengen visa kaagad yung mananalo, then it would be unfair for those na hindi magkakaroon ng enough time to prepare that requirement. So I think ganun talaga yung natin, yung kinakailangan nating train of thought at this point in time. We need to be very logical in the way that we select the girl to compete in Miss Supranational later on. Okay, let's start with some comments. It's already populated yung ating chat. Let's start with hello the universe. If BBP want the elite franchise, they should still crown for next year. Every May ata ang Miss Elite, hence they need to crown early. OTH, no more Bragaes sa BBP. Okay, medyo marami kang in-unpack doon. As for the Miss Elite na franchise, I don't think that nagkaroon ng fruition yung pag-uusap ng Miss Elite because nabanggit nga ng social media team ng Miss Elite that they already had parang initial talks with Binibining Pilipinas, and the ball is in their court at this point in time. So let things unravel as it is, because I don't think na madalian din ang desisyon ng Binibining Pilipinas to just immediately get new franchises. So may dahilan siguro ang Binibining Pilipinas, we don't know, and I think it's sad because this would be a good opportunity na magkaroon ng additional crowns for Binibining Pilipinas, especially with a batch na kasing dami ng pwedeng manalo in this batch. Okay, as for naririnig ko na sa mga chismis that he is no longer going to provide shoes for Binibining Pilipinas, or he's no longer a sponsor because Aish Fashion, yung nakikita kong madalas na mini-mention ng mga Binibining Pilipinas girls when it comes to yung mga footwear nila. So, it's probably that they have a new sponsor, and with Aish Fashion, being on the sustainable side of fashion, I think that's a good move na din for Binibining Pilipinas because it allows the sustainability factor to be brought into the pageant. And I think for everyone involved in pageantry, whether it's Miss Universe, Miss Earth, Binibining Pilipinas, or whatnot, maganda yung unti-unti na tayo nagiging open with sustainable brands when it comes to sponsorships. Kasi moving forward in the next 5-10 years, sustainability is going to be a buzzword that is going to be larger as the years go by. John San Diego, bakit wala ata masyado activities si current Miss Earth from Korea? That I don't know yet because for now, what I am looking at is that karamihan ng mga magiging activities ng Miss Philippines Earth at this point in time is mostly virtual. So by April, dun pa lang sila mag-i-start ang kanilang mga face-to-face activities. So maybe at that point, there will be more public appearances from Mina doon sa mismong Miss Philippines Earth na pageant. Right now, what I do know is that they are doing some mga negotiations, some talks, and mga seminars na ganyan for the new Miss Earth, but there is not much yet on yung mga major travels outside the Philippines and Korea. Okay, where are we? So, I think si Emmanuel, CEO says, why not send Celeste to Miss Supra? That's what I've been saying a little while ago. Bragger21 at Hello the Unibars. Better BPCI send Nicole Borromeo to Miss Elite, and the newly crowned Binibining Pilipinas International will compete in this year's pageant. This way, hindi na advance ang selection ng Binibining Pilipinas International. I don't think that's going to happen because ang current title ni Nicole Borromeo is Binibining Pilipinas International, and I think it will be her choice whether or not she competes in other pageant na makukuha ng Binibining Pilipinas. I don't also think na they will not give her the chance to compete in Miss International. So medyo malabo yung sinasabi mo, Bragger 21. John Santiago, bakit wala ata, okay, I think nabasa ko na yan. Sabi ni Hello the Universe, if Celeste will be appointed, I feel bad for Emmanuel Vera. Sana hindi na lang talaga pinasali si Eman. It was heartbreak. That I am not sure, but if in case na preparado si Eman and meron siyang Schengen visa, then I think that's a plus point for her because she will be able to compete in Miss Supra kapag meron siyang Schengen visa na readily available. I think that's a good, that's a good backup plan for anyone competing in Miss Universe Philippines in the future, or in Miss Supranational Philippines in the future, that you always have to have a Schengen visa readily available para if in case that you are going to be sent to Miss Supranational, meron kang easily available na visa na may ipapakita. Ayan. Ran Aran, sabi niya, I think handa na si Emmanuel Vera. Hindi yan sasali kung hindi siya handa. For sure, alam niya yung requirement ng Supra. I do hope so. But I also want it to be a clean and fair na opportunity for other girls sa Miss Universe Philippines na franchise, na if in case na meron nga silang meron nga silang Miss Supranational na kokoronahan among the candidates. I wish that they are more than ready and prepared na if in case ang next na deserving na girl to compete internationally doesn't have a Schengen visa, bigyan nila ng pagkakataon yung girl na yun to compete and apply for a Schengen visa para ready siya to fly immediately. Emmanuel CEO, mentally prepared kaya si Celeste lumaban internationally for the third time? That I don't know. I think that option, if ever na pasalihin siya sa Miss Supranational, I think that is still something that she would have to decide for herself. But on my end, the reason why I am thinking that she would be an easy appointment for Miss Supranational is because she already has the training, she already has the communication skills, she already has the visa and travel papers to be able to immediately fly to Poland if in case na kailanganin siyang mag-compete. I also think though that whether or not she is going to accept the appointment, if she is appointed as such, it needs to be a preparation on the wardrobe in such a way that she makes the decision at this point in time, at hindi yung we are going to argue whether or not the gown is beautiful or hindi, or yung national costume tama ba, aberya ba or what not. Kasi I think the things that were mistakes in Miss Universe should not happen again at Miss Supranational if in case Celeste is is appointed to compete later on. Okay. Sabi naman ni Ran Aran, di naman kailangan mentally prepared sa Supra, dapat beautifully and marketably prepared ka. Totoo. I don't think na masyado mabigat yung Q&A na factor doon sa pageant na yon. Jester PL, sir, yung visit kayo dito ni Arbonney is to the okay, wait lang. Sir, yung visit kaya dito ni Arbonney is the product of the invitation of Mama Halu to Sir Chavit, which he accepted. Something is brewing and I like it. I am not sure. The invitation for Arbonney to come here in the Philippines, let's take it as face value at this point in time hanggat wala pa tayong naririnig or nalalaman na bago. Kasi it would be dangerous to speculate yung bakit siya nandito, bakit siya pupunta dito. What if it was the prerogative of the Miss Universe Philippines organization to invite her for the crowning of the next MUPh, diba? Parang wag naman natin lagyan ng kulay yon because we are just pinagtatagpi-tagpi lang natin yung mga nangyayari lately with regards to the Miss Universe Philippines na franchise. I think nabanggit naman ni Chavit na he was invited to fly and meet with the new owner in Thailand. So if in case na mag-usap sila dito later sa Pilipinas and meron silang business arrangement na ma-iron out, then I think that's totally their business until they make it public for us, or may mag-leak na mga chismis, rumors with what happened with such meeting. Okay. Lemol 23.5. Good evening, Sir Jason. The option of appointing Celeste as our Miss Supranational Philippines is the safest way the MUPh org can go about the license issue between Miss Universe organization. Agree. And also, it would be a good redemption arc for Celeste after the very unexpected or on my end hindi kasi siya unexpected because alam natin na bilog ang mundo, alam natin na it's going to be a tough thing to crack the Miss Universe semis, but I think it would be a good opportunity that Celeste would redeem herself after such heartbreak. at Miss Universe earlier in NOLA. So maybe this would be a good opportunity for her. But if ayaw na niya, then maiintindihan din naman natin kung bakit. It's not easy to compete and and face the same heartbreaks over and over again. So yun. Hello the universe. No guarantee for Celeste to win. I didn't agree that Celeste is better than Mutya. Iba ang charm ni Mutya. Her naiveness is her killer charm. It would be very difficult to compare yung si Mutya with Celeste because during Mutya's time, iba yung hinahanap ng Miss Supranational. And then they did a rebranding around 2018, 2019. And I think from that point on, medyo mas traditional na pageant girl na yung hinahanap ng Supra in their winner. So it is most probably not an apple to apple comparison kapag pinagtabi natin yung capabilities ni Mutya versus the capabilities of Celeste for Supranational at this point in time. Okay? Lemon 23.5. Arbonney said that she will have a longer stay in the Philippines in May. I think she might tour on some places in the Philippines with Kun Ann to promote MUO before the finals of MUPh. Or it is also possible that because Arbonney has family, friends here in the Philippines, relatives here in the Philippines, baka mag-extend siya ng stay and join yung mga pa-welcome back, mga coming home, etc. ni Arbonney doon sa paternal side of her family. So I think it would be a good way to reconnect to relatives for Arbonney na makipag-meet siya doon sa mga relatives niya dito sa Pilipinas and get to experience the Philippines as well na as a Miss Universe, as a Miss Universe winner. Emmanuel CEO, sana ang Miss Earth mag-level up ng production this year at maging active sa YouTube sa pag-promote ng advocacy. Sa pag-promote ng advocacy, gawa sila content, magiging mas relevant sila sa magulong Miss You at boring na world. That's the thing about Miss Earth. They've always been lacking on the gloss factor, on the entertainment factor of their pageant. At this point in time, siguro, para na tayong sirang plaka na parating sinasabi sa kanila na, you need to engage with the larger fandom of pageantry as a whole. Hindi lang yung niche market that na ginagalawan nila. I think yun yung mahirap na part sa Miss Earth dahil kulob talaga sila doon sa doon sa thinking na yun. And I don't think any vlogger or any pageant page can convince them otherwise. It's up to them how do they want to manage their pageant. I agree that they are the most relevant na pageant around in the Philippines and in the world at of this moment. I think that if given the same level of production values, social media presence like Miss Grand International or Miss Supranational or even Miss Universe, yung Miss Earth na pageant, I think they could easily be one of the best 2 pageants in the world. Ganun yung potential ng Miss Earth. Unfortunately, hindi lang nila na ma-maximize yung potential na yun. Sana magawa nilang paraan in the future, but ultimately they do what they want, what they need to do in order to survive, and let's leave it at that. Kasi ang hirap diktahan ang Miss Earth when they have a certain way of doing things na hindi aligned doon sa hinahanap ng pageant community. Okay? Lemol 23.5 says, in regards to some girls eyeing Supranational and in MUPh, it's better to have Celeste as the role model for Supranational this year in case they get Supra, they can get they can better prepare themselves. Okay, let's move on muna doon sa ano from the comment section and continue with the tawag ito, with the topics that we've discussed. So, Binibining Pilipinas, which is originally, ang narinig namin about Binibining Pilipinas is that the tentative dates that are looking for was around May 14 to around May 28. Now, yung kumalat na mga info that it's going to be on May 14, tapos biglang nag-announce ang MUPh na sa May 13 nila gagawin yung pageant nila. And this is rumored na originally dapat they are going to have their pageant at around April. So medyo nagkaroon siguro ng aberya in terms of their finals date because they needed to wait for the approval ng kanilang license renewal doon sa nangyaring bidding war earlier in February before they make announcements on their socials on the finals of the pageant. So I think yun yung nakaapekto ng kanilang dates, and therefore nilapit nila doon sa finals dates ng tawag ito they had to change yung kanilang mga dates to reflect yung delay in terms of the announcement ng franchises across Miss Universe licensees. So it makes sense na nag-announce sila na sa 13 nila gagawin yung kanilang pageant. However, Binibining Pilipinas, originally, I've heard was parang around May 14 yung kanilang gustong finals. However, the thing that I've heard was that was not yet final at that point in time, and that they are looking at other dates, possible dates as well, because alam naman natin ng Araneta, ang BBC ay they own the Araneta Coliseum. So, mag-move man sila ng dates, walang problema sa kanila yun dahil pag-aari nila yung venue. And I think that is what happened. They are now rumored to have their finals at around May 28th. And it is more likely yun na yung mga activities nila would start towards the end of April towards the finals. So yung mga press presentation, I think it would happen somewhere around end April or first half of the month of May, and then yung mga activities nila will follow through later on. Now, I've also heard that hindi pwedeng mag-move ng pageant dates further ang Binibining Pilipinas because the Miss International is supposed to be in October or November this year. The dates that I've been hearing is either October 23rd or October 28th. I don't think na magkakaroon ng problema si Binibining Pilipinas if they have their finals in June or even later. Pero ang problema kasi is habang nimumove nila yung mga dates ng kanilang finals, umiikli yung mga yung preparation time ng mga girls for their international competitions. So, I don't think na magkaka-issue kay Nicole Borromeo yung October na date, but magkakaroon ng issue na yun doon sa mga ibang national titles ng international titles ng Binibining Pilipinas. So at this point, hindi pa sila nagko-confirm kung ano ba talaga yung mga titles that they have. For sure, International and Globes is still with them. And I've also been hearing this rumor that up until this year, the Intercontinental na title is still legally with BPCI. That is why medyo kinda gulat ako noong nag-announce ang mutya that they already acquired the Miss Intercontinental na title. Malaking gulo ito because kung merong papeles ang DPCI that they still have the contract for Miss Intercon, parang parang ang laking sakit ng ulo nito for mutya ng Pilipinas. On my end, however, I think that mas mabuti siguro kung pakawalan na lang ng Binibining Pilipinas yung Intercontinental because I mean, ano pa yung what's the reason pa that you have their franchise? Ano pa yung magiging reason why you keep a pageant franchise na hell-bent on moving on to other national pageants? Parang ayaw mo naman na ipagsiksikan yung sarili mo doon sa pageant franchise na ayaw na sa'yo, di ba? I think the best course for this is that Binibining Pilipinas, just let this go. Itong franchise na to. BPCI has crowned, multiple Miss Universe level na mga candidates for Miss Intercontinental, and naging fruitful naman yung franchise under them because never tayong mga sa Miss Intercontinental when BPCI had those franchise. So in fact, sila nga yung nakapagpanalo ng dalawang beses sa Pilipinas sa Intercontinental because even for the longest time during the time that Mutya held originally yung Miss Intercontinental na title, never tayong actually kumorona sa Miss Intercontinental. It was only during Karen Kalman's time that nakalasa tayo ng actual na corona sa Miss Intercon. And the mere fact that sinundan ito ni Cindy Obenita goes to say that Binibining Pilipinas really did their job with this international na competition. And the countless numbers of runners-up mula kay Christy Fanny Hanson to several other girls that I am suddenly having difficulty remembering. Katarina Rodriguez pala. It only goes to show that BPCI really did their best in order to uplift yung image and yung value ng Miss Intercontinental na title among Filipino fans. And siguro it's high time that they just let this pageant go because kung atat na ang Intercon na lumayas, then pagbigyan mo na sila. I don't think that kawalan ito sa Binibining Pilipinas, and I think that it only goes to show the level of value and worth that BPCI have for its local brand. Just let this just let them leave without even making a fuss out of it, diba? Kung yung napapabalitaan nga na yung ibang lumayas gustong bumalik at nag-attempt na bumalik, it only goes to show talaga that BPCI has the premium when it comes to prestige, when it comes to brand name. So yun, I am hoping though that despite all of these shenanigans, maging magandang chapter ender yung final walk ni Gabby ni Gabby Basiano for her reign as Miss Intercontinental Philippines. Okay, ano pa ba ito? Right now, Binibining Pilipinas activities are focusing on the girls, so wala kayong masyadong naririnig na mga media invitations dun sa mga activities nila. And this is also the reason kung bakit medyo matumal yung balita sa Binibining Pilipinas because kaming mga media, we're not yet involved sa mga activities ng mga girls. So it is more likely that yung mga activities that we will be getting the coverage pass on is going to happen around April or May na mismo. So it's up to Binibining Pilipinas how to market their girls at this point in time. I think nararamdaman ko din yung fatigue ng pageant fans. And it is shown not only yung medyo lackluster na interest ng mga fans with Binibining Pilipinas or Miss Universe Philippines, it's generally, a very, a very, very slow season at this point in time. And I think magpi-pick up lang ito at around April kapag mas malapit na yung mga finals ng mga national na pageants. And I think this is just normal na may mga lull in between. Patatapos lang ng Miss Universe nung January, and I think yung months ng February, March, and a little bit of April would allow us sana to recharge and get more, how to say this, get more invigorated kasi ito yung time that we are recuperating from whatever happened during the international pageant season. Pero dahil sunod-sunod tayong bombarded with information, with rule changes from Kun-an and the Miss Universe organization, parang medyo windang tayong lahat, that we are a little bit gasping for air because we've been inundated with so much information in new rules that we're still gasping for air. So yun, sana lang pag dumating dito si Kun-an, medyo hinay-hinay lang dun sa mga pasabog niya because we really want the highlight to be on Arbonney and instead of her. Okay, I'm gonna jump up dun sa next na topic natin. I will be reading your comments maybe a little bit later on because I think kinakailangan ko nang i-address ito because several days prior we had this post on social media about Hoa Hao Hoan Vu Vietnam, which is literally translated into Miss Universe Vietnam, na issue between the old na organizers nung pageant versus the new ones. The thing kasi is, JKN sent a letter asking for the old franchise owners of the Miss Universe Vietnam pageant to essentially give them or give the new owners, the new Vietnamese licensees, the reins on the old na social media ng Miss Universe Vietnam. The thing kasi here is that kung the old owners of the Miss Universe Vietnam license have patented for themselves or copyrighted themselves yung Hoa Hao Hoan Vu Vietnam name, the Vietnamese name, then I don't think na may habol ang JKN doon sa pangalan na yon. And JKN Global should not be asking the old franchise to hand over yung social media accounts na luma doon sa bagong owner because ang nagpalaki nung account na yon is the old owner. And this is also the reason why binago nila yung kanilang pangalan on social media. Instead of having the Miss Universe Vietnam na English na name, they now changed their social media handles to the Vietnamese na Hoa Hao Hoan Vu Vietnam na name. So which means that technically sa pagkakaintindi ko, walang habol ang Miss Universe organization and JKN doon sa pangalan na Vietnamese. I hope that there are lawyers who can clarify yung copyrights na law because from what I understand with regards to law, our laws here in the Philippines, hindi mo pwedeng habulin yung pangalan if it is a Filipino or Tagalog na version. Like for example, pag-aari ng Binibining Pilipinas yung Miss Philippines na title. And during the 1960s, actually, when they are crowning two Miss Philippines, yung Binibining Pilipinas is title ni Gloria, for example. And then yung ipapadala sa Miss International is crowned Miss Philippines. It was only, I think, in the 1970 that they extended the name to Binibining Pilipinas Universe, Binibining Pilipinas International. So you can just check out yung yung mga trivia that I posted on my blog with regards to that. But in essence, during the time of Gloria, Gloria was named Binibining Pilipinas, and her Miss International counterpart is named Miss Philippines. So, Binibining Pilipinas have the right na hindi magamit ng ibang national pageants yung Binibining Pilipinas na title, as well as the Miss Philippines na title. That is why ang Miss Philippines Earth, they did not use the Miss Philippines na title when they initially launched their pageant in 2001. Ito yung dahilan ito yung dahilan kung bakit hindi nila legally pwedeng gamitin yung Miss Philippines, dahil both Binibining Pilipinas and Miss Philippines is under the Binibining Pilipinas Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated. So, the way to circumvent that was that to call their pageant as Miss Philippines Earth or Miss Earth Philippines. There was a time kasi na itong mga nakaraang taon na pinagbaliktad nila yung positioning ng Earth at saka Philippines. But either way, having the Earth na interjected into the title allows them now, the name na pwede nilang gamitin. But they cannot use the Miss Philippines title alone as a title, because nakadikit yun sa Binibining Pilipinas, and I think they have the legal rights to that name. So, I think I'm hoping some of the intelligent lawyers here in this community can help us out in understanding yung international law with regards to that. I am thinking that because hindi nakapatent under JKN yung Vietnamese name, wala silang habol. So ganun yung pagkakaintindi ko. With that in mind, I don't think na the JKN can just immediately order yung old na franchise holders na i-turn over yung title doon sa new title holders if they don't have the local patent or the local copyright. So I think medyo malabo doon yung standing ni Miss ni JKN Global. So let's wait and see with what's going to happen to that part of yung franchise na awayan, kasi ganun din ang nangyayari doon sa ngayon dun sa Mr. International na pageant, wherein there is a Philippine-based na organization and a Thai-based na organization who are arguing with regards to who owns the ownership of the Mr. International organization. If Attorney Manuel Del Dio can substantiate and provide evidence that they own the legal rights to the Mr. International organization, which he has been very vocal on social media, very vocal on his stance on Facebook and Instagram, then magkakaroon ng problema yan later on, because yung si Pradit Pradinot, who also owns Mr. Global, is claiming that sa kanila yung organization. But if they cannot substantiate legal claims to that, at ang pinanghahawakan lang nila is a letter na ang will ng owner is supposed to be like this, but walang legal na bearing yun, magkakaroon talaga ng problema. So we're waiting for the legal claims to be settled, kasi ultimately gumagalaw na yung mga legalities ng ng both sides, I believe, on this issue. So, mahirap siyang sausawan, honestly. From a media na standpoint, it's so difficult to, to make a stand and name or say that this person or this entity has legal rights on the Mr. International. That is why we're hoping that it's the courts who will settle it for us. Because ang hirap talaga na sabihin mo na gumalaw na ganito yung organization na dapat nagme-may-ari niyan when both organization, kung may panginanghahawakan silang mga legal na papeles, it is much better that it is being settled in court instead of hanggang social media lang sila nag-aaway. And I think with this situation, mas magiging mahirap doon sa, let's say, Mr. Pilipinas worldwide to say that they have the Mr. International na Philippines na franchise dahil kung kapag may legal documents ang organization ng Mr. International Philippines under Attorney Manuel Del Dio, then baka mahabla pa ang Mr. Worldwide, Mr. Pilipinas Worldwide, if they continue to carry yung Mr. International na title when there is already local entity that owns yung copyright and yung trademark na yon. So medyo magulo siya. Sa dami-dami ng mga male pageant na naglipa na ngayon, sobrang magulo ngayon yung sitwasyon ng mga franchises na to, and that is also the reason why we are hoping na legality, legal wise, it is being settled ng maayos. Okay? Next, I know hinihintay niyo tong conversation na ito about the Miss International Queen Philippines. Okay, so what's going on? From the very limited knowledge that I have with regards to the pageant, there has been issues of backstabbing, candidate infighting, allegations of crown buying and rigging doon sa nangyaring pageant. I don't know the details. Unfortunately, I don't want na we focus too much on the scandal that's going on, but I do hope that everyone involved in this, infighting, would be mindful of the optics, because you are not only concerned about what went wrong, ano yung mga petty na away ng mga trans queens na ito. You are going to look at it, I hope that you are going to look at it from a larger perspective, from a macro perspective, wherein ang nakikita ng tao in general, ng larger body of people, audiences, is that this is another queer fighting against queer. It's another, issue against the LGBTQI community, na paano tayo susuportahan ng larger na society when tayo mismo nag-aaway-away just because of a petty crown, just because of a corona. It does not look good on the community that something as petty as this, nagsisiraan tayo, nag-aaway tayo on social media, at nagbabatuhan tayo ng hindi maganda against each other. There has been allegations against Lars Pacheco. There has been allegation against Patricia Ann, and I do hope that every camp that is involved, every person that is involved in this scandal, would think before they make this even a cesspool of garbage. Kasi the more na nagsisiraan kayo on social media, on allegations, on recorded messages, on screenshots, the more that the entire trans community as a whole is being looked down upon on. Kasi it will not impact negatively on just you, but also on the larger trans community, na tayo mismo nang dahil lang sa corona, naghihilaan pababa. I don't think that is something that would look good on the Miss International Queen na Philippine franchise, and I don't think that it will be something that is going to be uplifting yung trans pageants here in the Philippines. PH na nga lang yung nag-iisang trans pageant na tinitingala and binibigyan ng importansya ng larger na Filipino audiences. Tapos ngayon pa ang ito pa ang nangyayari just after the Fusha Ravenna win at the international na competition. Sana maisip ng mga bawat involved dito sa dito sa squabble na ito na the more that you mudsling, the more that you are going to show receipts how petty, how shitty your experience is with the organization or with your fellow candidates, the more that it impacts the optics on the trans pageant and the trans community as a whole. So pag-isipan yung mabuti if you want to drag that down to that level. Pag-isipan yung mabuti because hindi siya maganda tignan. Pag-isipan yung mabuti because ultimately ang nasisira is hindi lang kayo kundi yung it's the larger trans community as a whole. So please be mindful of your words. Please be mindful of the way that you communicate. Please be mindful that hindi lang yung kaaway nyo ang sinasaktan nyo, but the larger community as a whole. So, think of the optics. Yun lang. Huwag na natin sanang palakihin pa lalo ito at pagpiestahan ito because it was already a cesspool of garbage. Huwag na natin gawing, let's not make it worse than it already is. Okay? So, sabi nga nila, gracious in defeat, humble in victory. Okay? So, let's read some comments before we move on to yung last topic natin for this evening. Here we have, saan ba tayo nag-end? I think we ended up with with Lemuel 23:5. Where is it? I think the reason Lemuel is pertaining to the Binibining Pilipinas franchise. Okay? Sandali lang. Tama. Si Lemuel nga yun. Lemuel 23:5 says, I think the reason why BPCI wants to keep the Intercontinental franchise because they want to give this year's candidates the chance to go into international competitions. If that's the case, Lemuel, then they should have just gotten the Miss Elite na franchise. Di ba, if international competition lang naman yung pag-uusapan, it would have been better for them if they took on additional na franchises. So, ayun. Maybe pag-isipan natin mabuti yung if that's the reason why ba talaga. Okay, JB, ano ba ang balita sa Supra? Appointed ba at sino ang national director? Backread ka na lang, JB, kasi na-discuss na natin yung Supra na yan. Let's focus na lang doon sa next na comment ni JB, which is parang BBP at Miss Philippines Earth. Issue lang yung sa Vietnam. Yes, yun na nga, as I mentioned earlier, BBP has the legal copyrights for the Miss Philippines na title. That is why Miss Philippines Earth or Miss Earth Philippines MPE was birthed because of that situation. Okay? Line spread. Looks like Mr. Supranational is under MUPh since Mr. Supranational franchise is under Mr. Pilipinas Worldwide, which is under MIQPh. Announcement na lang yung hinihintay. Correct. Announcement na lang talaga and confirmation yung hinihintay. Michael Cordoves, may balita na po ba kayo sa Supra? Totoo ba na may 3 years contract pa ang Intercontinental sa Binibining Pilipinas? Again, yun yung naririnig ko. But on my end, ang narinig ko is parang may 1 year na lang silang natitira, which is supposed to be this year. So, kung ang Supra atat na atat ng kung ang Intercontinental atat na atat ng umalis sa Binibining Pilipinas, then I hope na ang Binibining Pilipinas just let go na lang kasi wala naman na kinakailangan patunayan ng Binibining Pilipinas when it comes to the Miss Intercontinental na competition. I think they were able to produce not just 2 winners but I think 3 or 4 na runner-up na placement plus siguro 3 or 4 na semi-finals na placement. I think that's more than enough na proof that they did, they did their best. And sa lahat ng mga Philippine franchises, pageant franchises na humawak ng Miss Intercontinental, it's Binibining Pilipinas who actually is the most successful na naghawak ng pageant na yan. Dorothy V. Jones. Hello, good evening, Dorothy. Sabi niya, just wanted to share my pride in the growing number of Filipino mentors continuing to get into the international pageant scene. It's a bright spot and a rather uninspiring and cynical time in pageantry. Tapos, heart emoji. Agree. I think the Filipino fans, or rather the Filipino mentors na are expanding internationally, nakakagaan ng loob dahil hindi lang yung efforts ng mga nandito sa Pilipinas yung nare-recognize but also all of these designers, mentors na nagpo-prove na kaya natin na i-conquer yung pageant industry as a whole. And with I get din yung sinasabi mo na na medyo uninspiring and cynical yung panahon ngayon because mas lalong nag-reinforce yung thought, at least on my end, that there are no permanent friends but permanent interests in pageantry. So sana lang na it's cynical and it's a very very negative na thought, but it's something that is real and it's happening in the industry nowadays. So I do hope that there will come a time where mas na-enjoy ulit natin yung pageantry like we did in the early 2010s. And sana yung natin yung sana ultimately yung goal nating lahat is to make things enjoyable once again, because yun na nga, lumalaki yung opportunities sa mga Filipino mentors, designers natin to expand internationally, and I think that's a very very good takeaway dun sa nangyayaring negativity around us currently. Lemon 23.5, great suggestion. Teach these trans queens to think and act properly, especially in a public manner, and be professional kasi it's already impacting negatively on the community as a whole. Yun na nga, Lemuel. Yung isa sa mahirap na diyan na tawag nito na sitwasyon diyan is that if totoo nga na merong mga unsightly and unbecoming na mga incidences doon sa crown queen, doon sa mga runners-up, doon sa mismong mga co-candidates, sana they settled it in such a way na hindi masisira yung pangalan ng organization, pangalan ng buong community because of what they're doing. Alam niyo yung ang sakit pakinggan, pero yung sabihan na away bakla, it's so condescending yung term. That term is very condescending and very downgrading. But this is exactly what is happening. And hindi nakakaganda ng image ng community. And I do hope that they are very careful with that kasi they are visible. They have lots of followers. They have they have the reach on social media. So sana iniingatan nila 'yon para hindi naman mabasag ng tuluyan yung image ng pageantry for the trans queens. So I do hope they'll be very careful with that. Emerly Seralde. Any news po sa new franchise acquired ng Binibining Pilipinas? Again, nothing new. quiet ang Araneta on that. Lord Lena, long time no see. Si BBP 36 ang kinukuwento ko sa yon na student ko before nasasali sa pageantry. No idea din siya kung ano ang additional title sa BBP. Take care always, Terim Kasi. Okay, yun na nga Lord. Kung ang org mismo is very quiet on their franchises, then there must be something that's going on behind the scenes na hindi natin nakikita. And I am hoping na they are able to settle this soon. Kasi ang lapit na eh. Isipin mo March, malapit nang magtapos ang Marso, and then we're still waiting for confirmation. So, alam mo yun, kung hindi man nila mag-guarantee na i-publish or masabi yung mga titles that they have, the least that they can do is start making waves on social media, because nababagalan ako honestly doon sa updates nila on social media, unlike in 2020, 2021 and 2022 na busog yung feed ng Binibining Pilipinas. I do understand, however, that over the past several weeks and several days, they've done their national costume shoot. They've done some sponsor visits. They've done some activities, charity activities. So at least on that end, I think nakikita ko naman na may effort ang Binibining Pilipinas to make the pageant enjoyable for the candidates. Naiintindihan ko din kung saan sila nanggagaling, na in the past kasi, in 2021 and 2022, karamihan ng mga activities nila, whether it's art in island, and yung sa museum, involved ng media. And sa mga pagkakataon na yon, during the frenzy of media covering the pageant, parang hindi na-enjoy ng mga girls yung experience. So it makes sense that nowadays, what Binibining Pilipinas is doing is that gumagawa sila ng paraan para maiba naman yung experience ng mga candidates ngayon. Unlike before na busog tayo sa social media, this time around they make it very quiet and personal doon sa mga candidates, so that the candidates can enjoy. On one hand, there are pros and cons to that. On one hand, naiintindihan ko yung they want the candidates to enjoy the experience, but on the other hand, they also need to make sure that busog ang feed nila on their social media na mga channels. Nasaan na ba tayo? Michael Cordobes, may chance ba na maban ang isang franchise pag nilayasan nila ang local franchise kahit may contract pa sila dito? That I don't know. I am not sure doon sa lagay na yan. Kasi baka naman pwede. I am not sure. Kasi if there's a legal precedent on that, siguro nahanap na natin. But I don't know. I honestly cannot answer that question. Lemuel 23.5, hopefully sa pagbisita nila Arbonney and Kun An sa Pilipinas in May, Kun An can clear up the air with most of the issues. Pag Philippine media na nag-interview sa foreign figure, usually mas clear. Lemuel, honestly, at this point in time, mas gusto ko manahimik na lang muna siya and give the spotlight to Arbonney. There's no need to clarify anything. Kasi sasabihin din naman niya later on in her social media feeds whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on her mga pa-live stream with JK and Global. I honestly just want at least for this visit na si Arbonney yung maging spotlight, yung sa kanya nakasentro ang attention, diba? Dorothy V. Jones says, ang sabi niya, there are many ways to conquer pageantry. Filipino mentors and creatives are paving the way. We as Filipinos must reshape our pageant beliefs into winning and conquering mindsets. Ayan. JB, yung tinatanong mo about franchise, yes, it's only for 1 year. Annual ang renewal ng franchise ng Miss Universe, if I'm not mistaken. May balita, may balita about sa bagong title na nakuha ni ALV. Sabi kasi niya, yung MWPH kasama ang Eco and Team. Tapos may bagong title nga daw, yung Reyna isasama naman daw sa MGIPH. Okay, to be honest, parang I don't think maganda na mayroong ihalo sa Miss World na titles. Pagsamasamahin na lang niya sana yung Eco Teen, Reina Hispano-Americana, and Miss Grand International Philippines into just one pageant. And leave MWPH as a standalone pageant dahil hindi nakakaalta. It actually, here's the thing. When a B-level pageant, isinama mo doon sa A-level na pageant, nagmumukhang B-level pageant yung A-level na pageant. So, that's the thing that I don't want to happen. Na sana hindi mangyari. Kasi, I think Miss World Philippines can stand alone on its own. Kasi nagawa naman ng paraan yan during, during Cory Quirino's time. Na kahit isa lang yung title, marami pa rin namang sumasali. Marami pa rin namang mga quality girls na sumasali. I mean, look alone at Valerie Wyman, Megan Young, Catriona Gray na sumali ng Miss World Philippines. I think, all of these talk about, making Miss World Philippines become an elevated na pageant. You can only do that kapag hindi mo siya isinasama with really very minor na mga pageants. But that's just my opinion on that. Okay, I think nandito kay Ramos Feliz, kakasad lang kasi alam ng ibang bansa na ang marami na toxic fans of pageantry and Filipinos are gays, tapos nagka-problema pa sa MIQPh. Michael Cordova says maraming lumalabas na sa social media na umay na ang mga pageant enthusiast kay Kun-an. This is also the reason why we need a break from her. Siguro naman sana maintindihan niya yon, di ba, na bigyan niya naman yan ng spotlight kay Arbonney, especially because Arbonney is a half Filipina and hindi na nga tayo nakapasok ang Pilipinas sa semis ng MUPh, Miss Universe nung dun sa NOLA, di ba? So sana ibigay naman na niya yung spotlight ngayon kay Arbonney because she needs that. Kailangan naman na siya yung maging bida at this point in time. JB, sabi niya, agree, well, sana maisip nila yun na ang tagal ng stand-alone pageant na MWPH under Cory Quirino. Okay, so, last topic, bago tayo mag-end, is yung mga favorites, mga girls that I think we should pay attention to in MUPH for the Miss Universe Philippines na title. Because at this point in time, parang ang pinag-uusapan lang ng mga pageant pages is around 2 girls umiikot. It's either Michelle D or Pauline Amelinkcx. And in as much as I like Krishna Gravides, I think I like her better to be sent in Miss Supranational because she has the height, she has the body, she has the charisma. That is similar to Mutya. I think kung hindi si Celeste yung ipapadala ng Pilipinas sa Supra, then it might be a good choice between Krishna and Eman to be sent in Supra. Now, for Miss Universe Philippines, however, there are 3 girls na I think that is perfect for the title. One is of course yung fan favorite, si Pauline Amelinkcx. Ang maganda kay Pauline is that she's very warm tignan. She's not aloof. Yun yung maganda sa kanya. Very warm, approachable yung kanyang aura. And I think that ang kanyang magiging not necessarily downfall, but rather magiging balakid niya is yung kanyang physicality. Because one, she's not very strong in the pasarela. I don't think that yung body structure niya is built for a really smooth gliding on the runway. And I think she needs to overcome that. I think that is the area that she really needs to work on. On the other hand, Michelle D is perfect on paper. Advocacy, kasi I think that's the correct pronunciation. Advocacy, background, accomplishments, height, physicality, she has that, in spades. Ang problem kay Michelle, she's not relatable. She tends to be like, look but don't touch. Look from afar. And that's something that I think Pauline has in spades, yung pagiging relatable, pagiging warm, pagiging inviting. Michelle does not have that. She appears very cold, very unapproachable because of her, very model-esque na katawan, very model-esque na overall visage. I think yun yung pinakamalaking obstacle that Michelle would have to face. And hindi siya madaling i-hurdle na challenge because this has been her weakness since she was crowned Miss World Philippines several years back. Even if sabihin natin na hindi man pumasok si Celeste sa semis ng Miss Universe, but during her batch, Celeste is actually the one who is relatable, who looks warm, who is, a glamorous on stage. So, lahat ng mga yon, it all convened to her advantage during the finals night, and that is why she won. And that is also the reason why I believe she won over Michelle. Michelle, on the other hand, she might have the communication skills, she might have the resume, she might have the pedigree with, with her mom being a former Miss International. And for her being a former Miss World, I think yung pinakamalaking balakid niya is the fact that she doesn't appear to be very approachable, and she appears to be devoid of personality even on photos. Yun yung malaking issue ko kay Michelle, and I think this is the right time that her team should be able to work around that. Kasi yun yung yun yung area na kinakailangan niya talagang pagtuunan ng pansin. Now, there is one girl who is I believe a good alternative to these two girls. She has the siya sa tingin ko yung best girl overall because she communicates well. She has very strong stage presence. Magaling siyang maglakad, magaling siyang magpasarela. Her only weak point is actually her height, and that is Samantha Panlilio. But everything else, with regards to Samantha, whether it's being relatable, whether it's being queenly, whether it's having the presence of a Miss Universe winner, I think Samantha Sampan has all the ingredients to be a great representative at Miss Universe. And hear me out. If you look at her photos, if you look at her, Miss Universe na wardrobe, always plakado si Samantha. There's hindi siya yung tipong parang kinulang sa makeup, kinulang sa wardrobe, kinapos sa ayos. She always is on point in every outing, in every photo, in every video that she releases. The way that she communicates is something that you would appreciate as a ordinary fan or as a pageant media because she talks with warmth, she talks with with relatable na tone of voice. And I think yun yung ingredient na a lot of people don't necessarily look at. And if I'm not mistaken there is this video by the Sovereign where sinabi ni Sovereign na among all the girls, Samantha yung the best girl overall. And I kind of agree with that. And to be honest, I am very afraid to say that Samantha Panlilio is, a personal favorite, or perhaps even my personal favorite in this competition, because karamihan ng mga favorites ko, they're not necessarily the ones who win. Nangyari na ito kay kay tawag ito kay pangalan nito kay Steffi Aberasturi. Nangyari na to kay Eliza Malinao, uh, and I think the only time that tumama ako was with Celeste last year. But other than that, karamihan ng mga nagiging favorites ko, they are shunned out. And I also fear because there is this stigma and jinx that no Binibining Pilipinas winner will ever win Miss Universe Philippines. And I do hope na sana si Samantha would be that girl. I honestly think that among all the candidates this year, Samantha Panlilio would be a great representative in Miss Universe. I think Samantha Panlilio would be the one that has all the ingredients that you would want in a Miss Universe winner, because she has pedigree just like Michelle. She has Binibining Pilipinas roots like Michelle. Kung si Michelle D merong Melanie Marquez, Samantha Panlilio has Mirna Panlilio on her side. She can talk, she can speak well, just as much as, or if not even better than Michelle and Pauline. In terms of the way that she communicates, yung tone of voice niya has that authority but not overpowering. And I think that's her advantage against the two Miss Universe Philippines repeaters. And another thing with regards to Samantha is that in terms of achievement, in terms of personal achievement, Samantha Panlilio actually owns her own franchises. She has several businesses under her. She works in the family business, and she also has her own business of her own, and then she is also a uh, a a talent, an actress. So kung titignan natin yung mga accomplishments ni Samantha, I think at par siya with the accomplishments of Pauline and with Michelle. So yun yung advantage. The only area na 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 she cannot measure up is of course yung height. Michelle is 5'9", 5'10". I think Pauline's around 5'8". So yun lang yung advantage ng dalawa, is on the physicality. However, everything else, I think when you look at overall styling, overall versatility, when it comes to styling, I think Samantha nails that on every occasion perfectly. And she doesn't seem to take bad photos. So, I think yun yung isa sa mga reasons why Samantha for me is the girl to beat in Miss Universe Philippines. Barring politics, barring insider na mga chismis and rumors and gossips, if everything is fair, I think Samantha would have a fair shot. If she's given a fair shot at Miss Universe Philippines na title, I think she can easily manage a win. There. I think let's just read some comments before we end our live stream. I think all of the things that gusto kong mabanggit na nabanggit ko na. So let's start with nasaan na ba tayo? I think it's Dorothy V. Jones. Sabi niya, I got half excited when the MUPh bets were introduced in the GMA program. I just get the feeling that this business arrangement with MUPh would be less strategic as some would have wished. Lord Lena, napansin ko pala ang Smile Train PH. Kanino na ba siya talaga? BBP or MUPh? I think it's they're affiliated with Binibining Pilipinas. JB says Cliza Castro for MUPh. tamang styling lang talaga. Love ni Rod, sabi niya, good evening Sir Jason. Hello, good evening. Love ni Rod. Backread ka na lang nung mga nung mga na-miss mo if ever na you came in late. Lemon 23.5. Michelle actually gets the fans noticed, and that's what she's working on this year. And so far, based on her recent challenges, she's improving. Same goes for Pauline. This she's improved on Pasarela. Okay, so I think valid naman kasi yung criticisms on Michelle and Pauline that these are the areas that they really need to work on. Si JB sabi niya, for me, medyo meh. Ako sa com skills, di parang malamya siya magsalita. Very Miss World ang datingan. And that's a valid argument as well, JB, kasi she did well at Miss World, making it into the top 12. Dansom SNJHSM. Kung di natuloy ang Miss Elite sa BBP, bakit nag-post yung Miss Elite PH? Papampam lang ba yung Miss Elite PH? Dan, I don't know kung ano yung sinasabi mong post ng Miss Elite PH. Maybe may nakakuhang iba na franchise, local franchise holder doon sa Miss Elite. So, let's just wait for announcement ng Miss Elite Philippines on that. Ish team, sabi niya, present Sir Jason. Thank you, Ish. Tapos we now have unapologetically you, sabi niya. I totally agree with you on that. To me, Miss World Philippines and Miss Universe Philippines should be standalone pageants and should not be mixed with all these small pageants. Again, the reason why I don't want major pageants to have mga minor pageants nakadikit doon sa major pageant. Yun is that nagpipiggyback lang kasi yung mga smaller pageants dun sa mga larger na pageants. And this would not work well if you have on the pageant itself is, ang pangalan is Miss World Philippines or Miss Universe Philippines, tapos nakapiggyback ang Supra, nakapiggyback ang Eco, nakapiggyback ang Charm, nakapiggyback ang ibang mga national titles. Unlike sa Binibining Pilipinas, that the main title is spread out as Binibining Pilipinas International or Binibining Pilipinas Globe or Binibining Pilipinas Intercontinental. So, qualifier yung Binibining Pilipinas, and then nagiging part of the conversation yung mga international franchise kasi nakadikit siya pa rin siya doon sa main na Binibining Pilipinas title. So kahit nasabihin natin na literally it's Miss International Philippines, yung brand premium that the Binibining Pilipinas have is in symbiosis with the international pageant. So yun yung maganda doon, and that is what makes BPCI unique in that sense. Okay. I think we're reading the last several mga comments. Lord Senas, sabi niya, Sampan is really a good representative sa Miss U. EJ Belge is asking, how would you assess Davao Oriental being the chosen winner of MUPh? Hintayin muna natin yung mga preliminaries before we actually make the final assessments on the ladies, because so far ang nakikita ko pa lang na mga interviews, mga pasarela, the way they are styled, that is really catching on sa paningin ko is that of Samantha Panlilio. I think there's this event in Okada, Manila, where she was wearing a white gown or white dress, tapos pulled back yung hair. I think that was one of her best styling so far that I've seen in the competition. Lord Sena, suggestion lang, sana tigil na nila ang representation per city or provinces. Kung every year naman ang magre-represent ay the same person. Nako, sabihan mo yan sa dun sa pageant mismo. Dorothy V. Jones is saying, I agree. At the GMA show introduction, Samantha was the one who both stood out in terms of serene beauty and calm confidence. That's what I've been saying, Dorothy. There is a certain, authority. There is a certain stance that Samantha has that when you see her on screen or even in person, you naturally gravitate towards her. And I think that is the reason kung bakit on my end siya sa akin yung perfect na, na, na representative sa Miss Universe. And don't tell me that height is not going to be an issue, ganyan because honestly, in the inclusion narrative ng Miss Universe ngayon, I don't think height is going to even be a factor whether or not a candidate makes it into the semis. So let's put that aside, na height is height is everything. No, it's not. If you have the ability to speak, you have a very enigmatic but at the same time magnetic na personality, but able to to convince people, to charm people in the manner of the way that she speaks. I think that's a good recipe for a Miss Universe Philippines winner. Lemuel 23.5, is there a possibility of a major announcement coming from BPCI? Sabi may pasabog daw this year sa finals, may special guests daw, di kaya si reigning Miss International kaya bibisita sa Pilipinas. I cannot say that for sure, but I've been hearing that there are possibilities na mag-invite ng mga major international guests ang BPCI. That is as far as what I can say at this point in time, without getting into trouble. Danson, any updates on BBP and MUPh upcoming events? Nabanggit ko na ito, yung mga activities na yan for BBP would likely happen around April, yung mga public na mga activities. Ishtin says, I agree with your observation with Sampan. Thank you, Ishtin. Ayan. So I think this has been a very very fruitful na conversation. I am very, very much happy with the things that we've been able to discuss. I think nakarami tayo this live stream. I think more than 5 na mga topics na discuss natin, and I've written them down here. Lahat ng mga points that I wanted to discuss with you, nasabi ko lahat. So, ano yung takeaway natin for this evening? I do hope that moving forward, whether it's BBP or it's it's MU or what other pageants, I do hope na we all take a breather in between, kasi ang hirap nung tutok ka sa pageants 24/7, and this is also the reason why over the past several weeks, several months, nakita nyo naman na very hindi ako ganun ka active on social media, because after Miss Universe na sobrang toxic ng environment, I really needed time to take a break from pageantry, or at least slow down. This is also the reason why since January up until yesterday, naka-private mode yung Instagram account ko on tawag nito, dun sa social media ko. The only thing na hindi nagbago is actually yung tawag nito, yung Facebook ko, but ang Instagram I really went private because I really want to foster a community where ang mga tao are respectful, intelligent and mature to communicate, to engage, to discuss, because it really took a toll on me. Yung not mentally, but yung nag-manifest siya as yung napagod talaga ako sa Miss Universe this year. I really felt the weight after nakapagpahinga ako with Miss Universe, and yung sunod-sunod na mga revelations ni Kun An hindi rin nakatulong. So I really took some time off to gather. So I'm hoping na ngayon at naka-public na ulit ang Instagram natin, ma-enjoy nyo siya mas lalo ngayon, because I think over the past 2 months, a lot of the people who were retained doon sa Instagram account ko sa Sashes&Scripts, nag-purge ako to make sure that only the best possible followers na can contribute to the community ang naiwan. And you've seen the changes, you've seen how from black, I'm moving on to my brown, tan na face ng mga graphics, and I'm hoping na nagustuhan niyo yung bagong look ng Instagram ko. So later on, I will be rolling all of those changes sa website as well. So I do hope na this would be something that you will all appreciate. And yun na nga, I am hoping that yung the level of intelligence that the community exhibited during the time naka-private tayo would be the same ngayon at naka-public na ulit tayo. And this is also the reason why the first thing that I posted this morning in Instagram was the rules of engagement when it comes to engaging with the community, the Sashes&Scripts community in Instagram. I do hope na a lot of you will become more active and really, filter out yung mga taong doesn't add on to the conversation. Highlight natin na sana at this point in time, medyo mag-mature na tayong lahat doon sa paano tayo nakikipag-deal with each other on social media, because again, I want this exercise of building, and leveling up the discourse on pageantry to be a community effort sa buong Sashes&Scripts na community. So I hope nag-enjoy kayo sa ating live stream ngayon. Thank you very much sa lahat ng mga nagpunta ngayon. I do hope na bago kayo umalis, mag-thumbs up kayo doon sa mag-like kayo doon sa din sa live stream natin, so that once na natapos yung live stream natin and it goes into public na domain, mas marami ang makapanood. So thank you very much for a very wonderful evening, guys. Have a great evening and morning if you're in the other side of the world. And hope to see you soon in our next live stream chat. Okay? Take care, everyone, and bye. See you soon, and take care. Okay.